So I wanted to cover this story. We mentioned this in other stories, but I realized that we need to make it its own segment. The Guardian. This is from, now look when this is from. This is from 2011, March 2011. So this is from The Guardian, and the headline is Revealed U.S. Spy Operation That Manipulates Social Media. The military's, quote, sock puppet software creates fake online identities to spread pro-American propaganda. This is from 2011. 2011. This is before the 2016. This is before anyone knew Donald Trump was running. This is probably before Barack Obama made fun of Donald Trump at the Correspondents' Dinner. So this is just so you know, the U.S., the United States has been. You don't think they're pioneering manipulating fake online identities to do pro-American propaganda? You don't think they're doing that? Of course they are. Of course they're the leaders in it. It's not Russia. The U.S. military is developing software that will let it secretly manipulate social media sites by using fake online personas to influence internet conversations and spread pro-American propaganda. It's exactly what they've been accusing Russia of doing. So there's two things that people get mixed up in the Russia thing. Most people get mixed up. So there's the hacking of the DNC emails and John Podesta's emails, which revealed that they were cheating Bernie Sanders, and a lot of other things. And then there's the other thing that Russia had these troll farms that would go on social media and do memes to try to influence and sow discord. That's what you've heard them say. They tried to. So those aren't the same thing. Those are two separate things. The thing Mueller's supposed to be investigating is the first thing, Donald Trump's collusion with the hacking of those emails with Russia and WikiLeaks. That didn't happen. There's never been any evidence to suggest that happened. In fact, the evidence goes the other way, according to NSA whistleblower Bill Binney. So those two stories get conflated, that there's the Russians doing the troll work, which is what this is. And then there's the actual hacking of but of course, Bill Binney says it wasn't hacked. It was downloaded to a thumb drive by an inside person. So what most of the stuff has been about this. Russia's doing Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. They're doing social media. And, of course, we've debunked all that for you to show you how little influence it actually could have possibly even had. Not that it did have, because no one's measured how much influence it had. It's almost think it's impossible to kind of measure. But we showed you logically how Nate Silver pointed out that it probably had zero, not in the top 100 things that influenced the election. But here's America being the pioneer in doing the exact thing that we're claiming Russia is controlling our entire electorate with. Here we are pioneering it in 2011. The article goes on to say the project has been linked by web experts to China's attempts to control and restrict free speech on the internet. Critics are likely to complain that it will allow the U.S. military to create a false consensus in online conversations, also to crowd out unwelcome opinions and smother commentaries or reports that do not correspond with its own objectives. That's, of course, exactly why they're inventing it. That's exactly the purpose of the program, and their critics know what the purpose is. That's exactly what the purpose is. The purpose is to do that, create a false consensus in online conversations, to crowd out unwelcome opinions, and to smother commentaries and reports that don't correspond with the United States military or the establishment's objectives. Of course, that's what we're doing. So, the discovery that the U.S. military, now here's a very crucial paragraph. The discovery that the U.S. military is developing false online personalities, known to users of social media as sock puppets, could also encourage other governments, private companies. Just let me read that to you again. So the U.S. government doing this, they say, could also encourage other governments to do the frickin' same thing. Well, of course, they're going to. So whenever anyone reports on the Russia troll farms or the social media thing and how they've somehow controlled African Americans' brains, the environmentalist brains, everybody in the Green Party, anybody who's for Bernie, everybody that the establishment doesn't like is being controlled by these Russian social. But yet here we are pioneering, and we're doing the exact same. They don't ever tell you that, oh, by the way, what Russia's doing is commonplace. In fact, the United States pioneered it since at least 2011. Yeah, we do the exact same thing, and, nobody can really tell how much influence it has. Like, that's not how they report it. They report it, Russia is hacking our, oh my God, which serves a lot of people differently. It serves the news organizations because it gets clicks and it gets viewers. Rachel Maddow, that's all she talks about, and she's got the number one show on cable news. It also serves the military-industrial complex and the intelligence community because they always want more war. So it ramps up a Cold War. We need enemies. After the wall fell and the Cold War was over, we got Al-Qaeda, which we had created, and now ISIS again, which we indirectly created but directly fund. And now we're going back to the Cold. Now we got the Cold War, baby. Now we can do more nuclear bombs. Those are expensive. We could do more which we are, by the way. We're going to spend $1 trillion upgrading our nuclear arsenal. $1 trillion. 30 million people don't have health care. People living under bridges in this richest country in the world, everywhere. In my neighborhood now, in Los Angeles. We're going to spend $1 trillion. That's Barack Obama. So this is the story that never. So what's wrong with all the Russiagate reporting? One of the biggest things is, well, it's based on no evidence. But the bigger thing is they never ever frame it correctly and say, yeah, Russia is doing this or troll farm stuff. What actual influence does it have? Probably none. They never tell you how much influence it actually had. And they never tell you, by the way, this is commonplace that governments do this. Israel does this. There's been stories. I could show you that story. I probably should have included that here. But just so you know, we're doing it. Israel does it. Everyone does this. This is normal now. Just like the United States intelligence community taps everyone's phone in the world, including Angela Merkel's. That was revealed. That's not an enemy of ours. That's our ally. Angela Merkel. We're friends. We tapped her phone. You imagine if Russia tapped President Obama's phone? Oh, my God, we want to start dropping bombs tomorrow. So this is the context that the establishment media will never give you. They'll never tell you, this is commonplace, we do it all the time. The real question is, what influence has the Russia troll farmy stuff had? And the answer, according to Nate Silver, is none. Almost infinitesimal. Not in the top 100 things that affected the election, he said. So there you go. And now you know how propaganda really works. You've seen it on an amazing... So if you ever see movies like Good Night and Good Luck about the first Red Scare, it seemed crazy to me that it would happen. It would take a couple of individuals to stand up to it. And here we are again today. We're in another one. And the media pushes it. How does it happen? The media pushes it ubiquitously. So if you're just a regular person not paying close attention like we do at this show and a handful of other reporters, you probably go, well, come on. Every time I turn on the TV, it says Russia and Trump. Come on. That's how propaganda works. 80% of people only read the headline. And now you know why people get their news from YouTube. Because we put it in the proper context, because we're not part of the military-industrial complex. We're not being paid by an establishment oligarch like they are at CNN and MSNBC and Wall Street Journal and New York Times and the Washington Post and wherever else you get your goddamn news from. So I wanted to highlight that because this needs to be its own video so people can refer to it. And then, of course, go watch our Bill Binney's interviews. There's a million. And then we've just recently, in the last week, showed you how Western intelligence agencies are infiltrating progressive organizations. It was happening during the Bernie Sanders 2016 campaign. And when they started pushing Russia, I tried to tell people everywhere, hey, don't you know if you push Russia, you're doing the bidding of the military-industrial complex. You're doing the bidding of the intelligence community who wants to undermine the left. They don't want to undermine the right. They want to undermine the left. And, of course, they are. And, of course, that's what they're using this for. Bernie Sanders and Jeremy Corbyn are Russian. Gerald Stein is Russian. I thought I just wanted Medicare for all. No, Russia made you think that. It doesn't take a genius to predict it. I predicted it. It doesn't take a genius to predict what happened. All it takes is a courage. More important than intelligence? Way more. The smartest guys in the world are out making nuclear bombs. So courage. And so it takes courage to tell the truth about the bullshit Russiagate reporting, which you're never going to get from MSNBC or CNN because those people don't have courage. They sold it for $30,000 a day. I'm not beholden to anyone. And all I'm doing is taking the slings and arrows from the establishment and the MSNBC wannabe YouTubers for telling the truth about this. I'll take that. That's my courage. Much more important than intelligence. Because it doesn't take a genius to see through this. Fucking I see through it. Okay. All right. So throw it over to my panel. What do you got? You got any comment on there?
You fell for my article.
Ha ha ha! Rob Lacone.
No, well, one thing I'll add to when you listed who it benefits, the other thing it benefits is the status quo, because that's how it happened the first time. McCarthyism did a hell of a lot of damage to the labor movement the first time around, and we're seeing history repeat itself.
It did. They would go to schools. The FBI, who the left is now circling the wagons because they hate Trump, the FBI would go to schools with a list of names of teachers, and then they were on a list, and they were to be fired, and they were. And who were those teachers on the list from the FBI? Union organizers. And that's in the name of fighting communism. Oh, the capitalists really figured out a good way to get rid of unions, huh? Oh, they're communists.
You know, I was reading an article, and I think we talked about it a couple months ago, where they were showing a group of students or, teenagers, and they were watching videos. And what they did is they measured the teenagers' response to the videos. But what they did was they would notice that the students would like it if it had considerably a lot of likes already. So they were focused in a way to...
You're inclined to like something popular.
Uh-huh.
If something's already popular, you're inclined to like it. It's like when there's a line outside of a club, you're like, what's going on in there?
In the same way, if it isn't popular...
Right. Nobody wants to join it. There's a club that's open, there's nobody in it. I don't want to go inside there. What's going on? It's exactly
and so that's
the same
another
thing.
way to throttle things. So you could have a video, Jimmy Dore video, and it doesn't have that many views on it because they're throttling it.
Because they're throttling it, and that makes it seem less popular. People, yes, Steph, you're exactly right.
What we're saying is hit the like button.
Now. That's what I'm saying.
Hit it.
If you like our content, looking for ways to help support, here's a great mug or a t-shirt or a thing. You can get it right underneath there, or you can become a patron to our show. We give you hours of bonus material every week. Plus, come see a live Jimmy Dore show. Go to jimmydoorecomedy.com for a link for all our live shows, and make sure you're subscribed. I know it sounds crazy, but they unsubscribe people from our show all the time, and you have to click that bell so they send you a notice when we drop a video. Thanks for your support.